I mean, they shouldn't be lazy. And so
What does that look like?
well, I mean, if a PA is just going to kind of go through the motions, see patients with the physicians, not really take notes, because there's questions. The physician's like, okay, this patient has melanoma, and these are the things we worry about in melanoma. And if that PA doesn't go home and read on melanoma, then they'll miss it. They've missed that learning opportunity, and they'll have to wait for 3 or 4 more melanomas before they figure out, oh, that's what he was talking about. So and what we try to tell our new hires is to do just that. So we say, look, I know you graduated from school. Congratulations, you passed your boards.
But you're still in school.
And you're still in school, and you're going to be taking notes, and you're going to be just attached to the hip. I try to tell the docs to make it kind of on their logic is treat this PA like your fellow. So have them go in the room by themselves, have them introduce themselves to the patient, have them do the history and physical, have them come out and present to you just like they did in school, just like your fellows did when you were in academics. And then you both go in and re-examine, re-eval, whatever the case may be. And you hope that PA, what I tell the PA then is make sure you have your notebook or your iPad or whatever you're doing and keep notes of, okay, go home and read that article, find that article on breast cancer, find that whatever the case may be. So it's challenging if for the PA that's not motivated to really continue the learning process, if they just think I'm going to be complacent and just be happy because I have a job, then those are the PAs that the docs will then usually call me and say, this person is not catching on. They're not getting it.
Mm-hmm. What are some other things that maybe new hires should not be doing? And maybe it's in relation to, their interactions with their multidisciplinary team.
I mean, I think that in some of our practices, and we lay out a framework for practices to do this, but if they don't have to do it, and so some don't do it, is if the PA is, sitting with the physician, seeing patients with the physician, but to your point, not really developing relationships with other people in that office or in that practice, then that's going to be a huge issue because, as we know, the physicians are not completely leading that practice, right? So a physician sees a patient or PA sees a patient and the patient needs a scan. Well, that can go now to maybe a scheduler, maybe a prior authorization person. Maybe there's a particular radiology center that they use that the PA doesn't know. There's a process that the PA needs to learn. And the PA can't assume, this actually, I was just on the call before our call with the practice going through this exact same thing. The PA, new hire, assumed that they were going to give them everything. I'm going to give you all the knowledge of how to run in this, how to work in this practice. Well, of course that doesn't happen. But the PA never went out on their own to meet the pharmacists, to meet the social workers, to meet the patient navigators, to get a relationship going, right? How can I help you? And particularly if you're the first PA, those other people, other specialists, paraprofessionals, they don't know what you're doing there either. And so I think they need to be able to be accessible to the staff and develop those relationships, introduce themselves. And we have a model where we have practices, if they follow it, we say, okay, in week 1, have them sit with your your patient financial counselor, your front desk, your lab, just so they see those processes.